Hey guys, Weir, road2road.com. Let's talk $100,000 Bitcoin. Remember those days? The $100,000 Bitcoin parties? Um, it was in Clif's data for 2017 before the big rig job up and the rig job down. Had it been allowed to just smoothly trade and let market forces take its course of action, yeah, we would have hit $100,000 Bitcoin in 2018. I think we would have. Because it's not that big a jump, truthfully, from 20,000 to 100,000. It's 5x. I think Clif had 14,888 was his number that blew right by and jumped to 20 because of the rigging by the folks over at Tether, and then the slam down by the crypto cabal, or it could have been the good guys working with the trustee of Mt. Gox. Could have been a lot of things, but definitely a lot of derivatives flying around. So how much are the cryptos worth? Nobody knows. But there's more and more people starting to find out that cryptos did not go away. In this brutal slam down, no, they did not go away. Sorry, crypto, they did not go away, and they are not going away. They will be used for decades, if not centuries into the future. They're a lot more useful than gold. I hate to tell all you gold bugs, but yeah, I'd sell all your gold and buy cryptos. I'd buy some silver too because of the manipulation, price suppression, and the fact that silver is used in industrial applications all over the world and has been used up for the most part. I think there's about 6 billion ounces of each. And with currently an 80-to-1 ratio, silver is the no-brainer. But let's get back to $100,000 Bitcoin. I do think it will happen. Cliff was saying a couple years out, it's going to go a couple years out. I don't think so. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later because as sovereign nations say, oh my God, the old system's falling apart and we need to do something, more and more will be looking towards Bitcoin. For example, right here, story that Afghanistan, Tunisia, to issue sovereign bonds in Bitcoin. Bright future ahead. This was in Cliff's data before the $100,000 parties. This is a web bot hit. Absolutely. Countries would start issuing sovereign bonds with a crypto relation or backing, or it's not clear how these guys are going to use Bitcoin. They could use it, accept it as payment. They could use it as backing. I think Afghanistan was talking about using it as backing with lithium somehow. Afghanistan and Tunisia are planning to issue sovereign bonds in Bitcoin to fund infrastructural developments, reported Asia Times from IMF's Spring Meeting Summit. Khalil Sadiq, the governor of the Central Bank of Afghanistan, confirmed that they were looking to utilize cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to raise around $5.8 billion. Sadiq said they would pair Bitcoin with a form of metals futures such as lithium. So they're going to pair potentially fake Bitcoin. You got to make sure that they're using real Bitcoin on this type of thing. But they're saying real Bitcoin with lithium derivatives, obviously. So yes, there's a derivative component. There will always be a derivative component when it comes to banks because they can't afford the real thing. Can you imagine them going in to buy $5.8 billion worth of Bitcoin? And take delivery of it, literally? So yeah, there's a lot to still be working. The cryptos are just not big enough. And let's wrap our heads around this one. The difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin. Litecoin, I believe, will be a better means of exchange than Bitcoin. But just on a scarcity factor, there's going to be 84 million Litecoins produced in 2140. I think right around the same time as Bitcoin hits 21 million. So it's a 4-to-1 ratio. On that note, in 2140, there will be 350 billion EOS tokens. I'm just saying, EOS guys. You do your own math on 5% compound inflation. But Litecoin, yeah. The Litecoin moves just to catch up to the 4-to-1 ratio. If Bitcoin, say, goes to $100,000 this year, Cliff's saying the end of next year. I'm thinking this year. And I don't even know if it's December. It could happen at any moment if Deutsche Bank goes down. That's the thing. With the delay of what was happening because of the manipulation in the last year and a half, things can pop just like that. But for Bitcoin to move up to $100,000, you're looking at a 20x move, or 2,000% gain, which is unheard of, right? Well, it's unheard of anywhere other than in the cryptos. Bitcoin was moving up steadily in the bull runs. 2017 was up 1,000%, 10x. So I think there's things to make up for lost time. So I think it will be a 20x move to $100,000. Now, stick that in your mind and then say, okay, if Bitcoin moves up to $100,000 because it is recognized for its ability to do transactions, if the banks go down, that's what we need. And what about Litecoin? I think Litecoin could and should be 4-1 today. It's better, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's stronger than Bitcoin. And it's going to implement the Lightning Network a lot faster than Bitcoin will. So if it does go 4-1 and Bitcoin goes to 100,000, that puts Litecoin at $25,000 per coin. That's a whole lot different than a 2,000% return. That would be a 31,000% return, because it would be 25,000. It would be 312 times the current price for a 31,000% return, as opposed to Bitcoin going to 100,000 would only be a 2,000% return. So what do you want, a 31,000% return or a 2,000% return? Yes, that is assuming that Litecoin goes 1-4 with Bitcoin. And I do think at some point in the near future it will happen, probably as Bitcoin rises up to 10,000. So yes, absolutely. And you look at the volumes of Litecoin, look at that. Half the Litecoin traded in the last 24 hours. You know how easy it is to destroy that market? Some leveraged, or don't even have to be leveraged. Some well-heeled hedge fund walks in and says, I'm going to buy up all the Bitcoin in the next 24 hours, 48 hours. It would take 2 days because it's all derivatives. And then I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm going to pull it all off the exchanges. And what happens when that happens? Shit like this. Crypto exchanges collaborate with BitThumb to freeze stolen funds after the major hack. You might recall BitThumb went down because they didn't have the coins. And then they said, oh, it was an internal steal. Here's the crazy thing about this is check out. So they went to all the exchanges where some of these coins ended up, supposedly. So why can't they find the guy? If all these exchanges have the, know your customer, in the NYK, or was it K? No, KYC. The KYC, why can't they find all these people? Well, theoretically they should, unless there's a lot of fraud going on, which there is. So listen to this. Major part of the stolen funds have been frozen by various exchanges. As mentioned above, BitThumb has insisted that the hijacked funds were entirely company-owned and hence did not represent customer assets. Bullshit. That's because they don't want everybody going in there. All the funds are stolen, are frozen right now. You can't get them out. In an attempt to prove this, on April 11th, the South Korean exchange published what it presented as results of an alleged professional external audit of its funds conducted on April 8th, a little over a week after the hack. Quote, we have stated that we will conduct fair and objective due diligence on all assets that we have through a reliable external audit, the statement reads. Quote, we are pleased to inform you that our members' valuable assets are managed and maintained in a systematic, safe manner through the attached due diligence report, but they still won't let people withdraw. So they're full of shit. Nevertheless, the exchange's clients had been stripped of the option to withdraw their funds from the platform because that option was disabled as soon as the incident occurred. In one of the statements, BitThumb also claimed that they are working with the Korean police, Korean Internet and Security Agency, and unspecified security companies to deal in the aftermath. News about the hack was initially broken by W1, founding partner at blockchain-focused Primitive Ventures, who also tweeted that part of the stolen EOS had ended up on a number of exchanges, while another portion had been moved to other addresses. Thus, Juan wrote, the exchange that received the most funds, 662,000 EOS, was Eximo, EXMO, followed by Huobi, Changely, ChangeNow, and KuCoin. All of those are supposed to have KYC so they know who did it, right? I don't know. According to the blockchain security company PaxShield cited by the block, smaller portions of the funds were also sent to Switchcoin, BW, Binance, and HitBTC. So Binance, who does have a KYC, should have all the information on whoever stole these coins. But it's all fraud. Crazy. It's crazy. Get out of the exchanges as fast as you can. All right, so back to, will cryptos break 100,000 Bitcoin and then have Litecoin run up to 4-to-1 ratio? Absolutely. At some point. I think when the banks shut down, we're going to need that means of exchange more than anything else. So I think Litecoin and Bitcoin will go 1-to-1. Take that. Take that, Clif High. But I love Clif, and he's done amazing work. And yes, they were screwing with his data as it got hot. They drove the price up and then they slammed it down, and I don't blame his data. Hell, we've all made a lot of money if you've been in long enough and you've hodled long enough. Hodlers always win in the end. But here's an interesting article today. Deutsche Bank shares slip amid 20 billion Russian money laundering allegations, completely over and above the money laundering that they were already doing out of, Estonia or something like that. Shares of Deutsche Bank slipped 2% on Thursday morning following the reports the German bank could face legal action over a $20 billion Russian laundering scheme. The Guardian on Wednesday published a confidential internal report in which the bank admits fears over significant disciplinary action from the U.S. and U.K. regulators, conceding that the scandal had hurt its global brand and it was likely to cause client attrition and a decline in market value. This is all as they're trying to merge with Commerzbank. Deutsche Bank is said to have been implicated in a massive money laundering scheme called Global Laundromat, the Guardian reported. The scheme, used by Russian criminals with ties to the Kremlin and the old KGB and FSB, involved moving money into the Western financial system between 2010 and 2014. According to the Guardian report, the cash involved could total as much as $80 billion. The funny thing is, the SWIFT system knows every transaction of size, so they knew about it. The criminals knew about it, now they're just getting busted for it. Spokesman for Deutsche Bank declined to comment. Classic criminal crash. But that's not all. That's not all at all. Because we have crazy Maxine Waters going after Deutsche Bank as well. I'm starting to just fall in love with Maxine Waters. She knows not what she does. And I love it. Trump investigation. 9 banks subpoenaed in Democratic probe into the president's alleged money laundering ties to Russia. They just can't give up that ghost. 2 Democratic-led congressional committees have issued subpoenas to 9 major banks as part of their investigation into Donald Trump's finances. Those banks include Deutsche Bank, which was previously reported to have received subpoenas from lawmakers surrounding the president's financial records, and 8 others. Take Deutsche Bank down with Trump. That's fine. Trump can go away for all I care, as long as we can end this old system and bring in a new one. How's that? I think he'll stay in office, but you can't open the kimono on these banks. They're all criminals. And the people doing the transactions through the Federal Reserve and the SWIFT system, they know about all the transactions. You cannot hide transactions like that. They have to approve them. It's like Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff had one banker, J.P. Morgan. You can't have a $50 billion Ponzi scheme without going through all the approvals of management, senior management, the board of directors. All these banks have approval levels. And anything in the millions, it goes up the ladder. You think anything's going to be transferred in the $100 million range that Jamie Dimon doesn't know about and isn't fully aware of? So in the billions, absolutely, those are board decisions for Madoff, for anything going out. At Deutsche Bank's the same way. The board has to approve these things, and there's different levels of approval. And it has to go through the Federal Reserve and the SWIFT system. The Swiss system especially. That's the only way they can transfer that money. So it is no mystery. It is completely known by the banking cabal what was going on. But now they're just ready to pull the plug. Why now? Because the old system's about to implode. Voila! That's how you get your $100,000 Bitcoin this year. I think it's going to be this year. I think by December. I think we're going to hit $100,000 Bitcoin. Because I don't see anybody wanting to sell. I see a lot of sovereign nations wanting to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All the weekends are long gone. And now we got the traders, the small traders who are clueless anyways. Oh, it's going to drop back to $1,000 and I'm going to buy it all up. Clueless, out of the picture. They're not going to buy back in. Ever. They're out. They're gone. They're going to try a different coin probably to write it up. And then you've got your market manipulators. That's all got to do with crypto derivatives that are traded on the current exchanges. Those exchanges will go away. There's already, I was listening to Crypto Chico Crypto. He's talking about a new decentralized exchange. It sounded pretty good. I'm going to look into that one. Because that's what we need, decentralized exchanges. No, nothing related to EOS because EOS is not decentralized. It is centralized 100% with the 21 people who are on the phone every day calling each other and say, hey, did Big Square buy any EOS yet? We got to ban that mother. EOS is a joke. But I think Litecoin is the right coin, and you're going to be very happy you held on to that one. Again, 30,000% gain if it goes 1 to 4 with Bitcoin, up to $100,000. Now, if Bitcoin stays at, it won't stay at 5,000, but say Bitcoin only goes to $10,000 by the end of the year. $10,000 Bitcoin and Litecoin goes to 1 to 4 ratio. That would be what? 2,500 bucks from 80. It should be the same ratio, except it's 3,000% return. So Bitcoin will get 100% return, but Litecoin will get 3,000% return. That's how undervalued Litecoin is. Same with silver. That's how undervalued silver is. Silver and Litecoin are identical. That's why Charlie Lee created it as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Anyway, that's all I got for you right now. It's getting ugly. It's getting crazy out there with the Mueller craziness. CNN is just ridiculous. I think they're scared because if their narrative is not true, they might get busted for treason because they were involved with spreading the lies. And there are other people in the media too. So yeah, they're fighting for their lives. So they're going to say every cockamamie story they can find. Same with some of these Democratic senators who were involved in it. They're in a little trouble. Anyway, BigSquareRoadRoad.com. Give me a thumbs up and a like. And I'll keep doing these videos as long as you guys listen. Talk to you later.